and welcome back to the official Arsenal Vavel YouTube channel. I'm joined by Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Today we are going to do a tier list within the Arsenal squad as of January. Most players, I think, are in there. And then I think there's a few that aren't, but we're not sort of classing them as regular first team players. So the first team are all there. So we're going to see what our opinions on our current first team squad. Let's get into it. Should we start with Aubameyang? He's first up on my list.
Key man, isn't he?
Aubameyang, key man.
Yeah. No, that's
current club captain, first team striker. I think key man. I mean, he's getting a bit older, but he's still our top goal scorer this season. I think that's quite obvious.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a guy to score goals, it's going to be Aubameyang, isn't it?
Next up, we have Hector Bellerin. This is a bit of a divisive one, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like him. I personally quite like him. I know he could be better, but I would personally put in a sell if offer is right category.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He's not a squad player. He's not going to be loaned out. Nothing silly like that. It's either sell first team or sell ASAP, isn't it? So I think sell if the offer is right.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to sell him for like 5 million, but if we get 25, 30, pushing it 40 for him, I think no one would complain. Danny Ceballos, obviously in on loan, so it could sort of fit. I'm not convinced by him this season, really. There's no real category for sort of terminate his loan now, but
I think it's, if we buy him, it would be a squad player.
Yeah.
Danny Ceballos is one of the most infuriating players in the squad. In that he can be absolutely brilliant for 30 minutes. And then as you're tweeting that he's absolutely brilliant, like I did, he makes 2 mistakes that lead to goals.
Yeah.
And you just sort of hold your head in your hands and wish you'd never tweeted in the first place.
Yeah. So I think the squad player, if we sign him, he's a squad player. If we don't, no one's going to complain. Cedric. Squad player, I think.
Yeah. That probably sense.
We're not going to sell him or get rid of him considering we've just signed him. So I think he's the backup to Bellerin. I think maybe I'd give him a run of games just to start him right back, but
I'd definitely give him a run of games this season. You know, Bellerin needs competition of being a good player. Good player for its competition. So I would give him a few games at right back for now, especially if Pepe's going to play there. But with Saka coming back, I think they work quite well together.
I think let's put Cedric in there for now, and then we can review it at the end. Here's a tricky one: Callum Chambers. I really like. I've said it before on here. I really like Callum Chambers. I think we've got so many defenders now. He's 4th or 5th choice. With Saliba coming back, hopefully next season, he might even get dropped down further. I think he's not got long left on his contract. I'd potentially loan him out next season, and then see if he has a decent season. I'd sell him, but I like Callum.
I think personally, I put him in the sell if offer is right category. Maybe even he's not bad enough. He's not one of those players that you want to see leave your club. But if you're talking realistically about who's going to raise money for Arsenal to spend in the summer, Callum Chambers is English. He's versatile. He's still quite young. Got a couple of years left in his contract. He's probably one of the players that you want to put in there for 15, 20 million and see who bites on that.
Yeah.
So I'd probably put him in sell if the offer's right, personally.
Okay.
I can see you disagree.
I'll side with you there. I'll side with you at the moment. We'll see. We'll come back to it. Mohamed El Neni.
He's just a bit of a nothing player, isn't he? Like, if he's a squad player, that's fine. But also, if you can get 10 million for him and sign someone else,
I'd tell him as soon as we can get rid of him. Honestly, I think even if we get 10, 15 million for him, I think any money's good money for Mohamed El Neni. Like, he's a decent player. Like, he does his job, he works hard, but like I said, he's just a bit of it's El Neni. Like, there's no like oomph, or there's no, I never get like a feeling of I want it on the back of my shirt kind of thing. I'm not gonna have like many posters, so
I'll side with you on that one. Yeah, we can put him in the sell.
Let's sell him as soon as we can.
Poor Nenny on his own down there.
Poor Mo. Emile Smith-Rowe.
Between first team and squad player.
High end of first team?
No, high end of squad player or low end of first team, I think. I think we've still got to address that creative issue, and he's been brilliant in the 10 weeks that he's been in the squad, but also he's in the last few games, he's really started to burn out a lot, which is completely understandable. You know, he's still 20, 21.
Let's put him in first team for now, and then whoever comes next, then we can see if he's ahead behind him. Gabriel at centre back.
Key man, yeah.
Key man?
Either the top end of first team or key man. I think he's going to be in that defence for a long, long time going forward, provided he keeps up the performances that we've seen from him.
I'm thinking, is he on the same level of importance to us as Aubameyang is? I think that's the way you've got to sort of compare it.
No, I suppose not. I suppose you could put him in first team if you're going to go with that logic.
Ahead of Smith-Rowe or behind Smith-Rowe?
Next season, he should be ahead of Smith-Rowe. Right now, he might be behind Smith-Rowe because of the number of options we've got in attacking midfield.
Let's put him behind Emile for now. Where's he gone? Gabriel, there, next to him. Perfect. Rob Holding.
First team, squad player, maybe? It's difficult with Rob because he's been very consistent this season.
Yes.
But we're still 11th or 10th.
10th we are.
So it's not like he's been consistent and we're challenging for Europe at the moment. I don't think he's a particularly bad player. You know, he always plays with a lot of heart when he does play. You can tell he cares about the club he's playing for, which is really good to see. You know, he is one of those sort of niche players, I suppose, that you get on the back of your shirt just because of the passion that they have for the club. Yeah. I think he'll probably be vying for the first team / squad player if Saliba comes back.
So at the moment, he's low end of first. I mean, personally, I think this season that partnership of Holding and Gabriel works rather than having Louise in there or Mari, who I think they're okay players, but I don't mind. You can have the final say on Rob, where first team or squad player.
Put him at the top of squad player.
Top of squad player, that works for me.
Yeah.
Perfect. He's in front of Danny Ceballos.
Yeah.
Lacazette.
He's sort of in. I'd say sell if the offer is right.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think that's quite
fair. He's got a year left on his deal after this coming summer. He's the wrong side of his peak, really.
Yeah.
He's not a bad player, you know. I really like Lacazette, especially through the middle. I thought he was really good at the weekend against Leicester. I think he often doesn't get the credit he deserves because he doesn't get the goals that you want your striker to get. But he does a lot of link-up play really well, especially in that time when we didn't have a creative player. He was often able to drop so deep to create any chances.
I think that's fair. I think if we got a 30 million for him in the summer, I think we couldn't complain. I know we signed him for a lot more, but it's been 3 or 4 years now.
And also with the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, we're not going to reach.
Anyway.
What did we pay for him? 60 million? Did we pay for him in the end?
Yeah, 56 million, I think.
Yeah, we're never going to get that back on him. So I think if we sell him for 30, 25 million, I think we'd be reasonably happy with that. If we invest in Edouard, something like that, I think
there's so many options. Striker's a really interesting position because there's so many options that you can get out there at the moment. There's obviously that high level that we're not going to be able to get, like the Haalands.
Yeah.
That sort of level. Haaland and Mbappe, that sort of level. But then below that, there's a lot of players that have a very high ceiling. As you say, Edouard is only 22. Alexandre Isak at Sociedad is only 22, I think.
Yeah.
There's players like that that could come in and really nail down the starting position for the next 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've loved Lacazette with the time we've had with him. He's been player of the season. He's scored important goals. He's done a lot. But if we, like you said, last year of his contract, if an offer comes in, I don't think we could say no unless it's Spurs or a rival team. David Louise, that's an interesting one. Again, short-term contract. Potentially talk about giving him a new contract, but with a player-coach reduced playing time role.
Yeah, I personally think that's a good idea. I'd have him in squad player for that reason.
He's a squad player, isn't he? Like emergency backup kind of centre back. I think is he more important than Danny? Or
no, he's probably below them. I wouldn't. Next season, I wouldn't want to see David Luiz on the pitch unless there's a centre back crisis. But I'd be very happy for him to be at the club, mentoring the players and learning his coaching badges, etc.
Let's stick him at the bottom of squad player for now, and then we'll see. Pablo Mari.
Again, I think he's probably another squad player. He's that backup to the left-footed option, isn't he? So he'd be very useful. Sort of. I think he's been quite good when he played as well. To be fair to him,
he's been good, but I think potentially, like if Saliba comes back and they sort out their issues, Gabriel and Saliba next season need to be that starting.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree. I think high end, like he's in front of David Luiz in terms of squad player. I think
for sure.
Fair place to put him. I'm really going to be upset with myself for saying this. I'd send Martinelli out on loan. Something's clear. I think something's clearly happened with him and Arteta, or in the squad. There's something, because he should be having more chances than he's been getting. I think.
I think it's difficult because he is only 19, and he didn't get that many Premier League minutes under Emery either. It was just he did really well. If you remember in the Europa League and in the Carabao Cup against Nottingham Forest, I think it was.
Yeah, that was class.
He's obviously had that long injury layoff, and then it flared up again when he was due to start. Was against Newcastle.
Yeah,
when he got injured in the warm up.
Newcastle, yeah, Newcastle.
So I think I wouldn't loan him out personally. I think Arteta said a lot of good things about him recently, about how he's really, really looking forward to working with him, and now he's a really good player, and now everyone can see he's going to be great. And they're just sort of easing him back in. I think he'll be at the top of squad player in and out of that first team.
Yeah,
next season, personally.
I think top of squad player suits him quite well. I'd agree with that.
He is only 20 as well. Not everyone can have Bukayo Saka rise, catapult, I suppose, into limelight.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, if he got loaned out next season to a championship club, I don't think I'd complain. Considering the attacking opportunity we have, but I'd rather see him start than players like Willian.
Yeah, sure.
Martin Odegaard, again, with like Ceballos, currently a lone player, but if he was a permanent member of our squad, if we managed to sign him, where would he be?
First team, 100%.
Easy. I think he's a quality midfielder. I'd agree with that.
I think he's going to be interchanging with Smith Rowe or playing alongside Smith Rowe, isn't he? So
there's a lot you can do with this team in terms of those attacking three positions. You can have anyone play anywhere. So
I think with key man as well, putting him in key man is difficult because he's next to Smith Rowe.
He's not both a key man yet, I don't think.
No, both of them work in the same position as well. So I mean, it's not like Aubameyang where if you don't get his goals, you're really struggling for goals. With those two, you could both play them and be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But Leno, key man, is there any other place we could put him?
No,
key man definitely. I think we're also basing this on if they're fully fit, not injured someone. So I think Leno, key man.
Coming on Thomas Partey, eh?
Key man as well. I think that's only natural. If once fully fit, he is the starting midfielder for us. I think easily.
100%.
Nicola Pepe.
It's difficult because I really want to say first team, but if you've already got Aubameyang, and Ødegaard, Smith Rowe, and obviously Saka will go up there.
Yeah.
That's already a four at the front. And if you're looking at another striker to replace Saka, that's 5. So I would say he's probably a squad player alongside Martinelli.
Okay, I think that makes sense. More important than Rob Holding?
No.
Stick him between Holding and Ceballos?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's quite fair. Now we've got interesting final 4. Bukayo Saka.
Key man.
Okay.
Already.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Key man, I think he's been really important this season.
He seems to get Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
Like when we were on that losing streak, he posted that Arsenal fans who deserve better on Twitter.
Yeah.
He lives and breathes the club. He's our new Cesc Fabregas in terms of how important he is becoming to that team so quickly and so young. I think he's just a quality player, isn't he? He's only getting better. He's getting better every game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's really important to us now. And as is the next man, Kieran Tierney, I think goes alongside him. He's so important. He's my next Arsenal captain, or like hands down. Next season, I'd even take it off Aubameyang because I just Tierney lives and breathes and fights for this club. He's not homegrown. He's not Arsenal nurtured, and he's not like an academy player like some of the others. But he cares, and we've not had someone who cares. I think since Cesc, I don't think there's been anyone that properly will fight and die for the shirt.
I think Koscielny would have done for a while, until obviously ended sour, but he was very committed. But we do lack those sorts of players now. Like Bakary Sagna was another one who used to really care. He wasn't anything. He wasn't a Galactico name, but he was one of those players that really cared about playing for the club. Yeah. He was really important for us. And I think Tierney's going down the same way, except he's better.
He's so important. I love him so much. He's just so good. I remember, before we signed him, Football Manager, it was like we had like someone like Kieran. Yeah, like our left back options with Kieran Gibbs and Nacho Monreal. I was like, him. He's like, he might even be only like 19 on the game or 20 on the game or something. But I was like, I'm signing him because you get him to cheap and he turns out quality. And I think, like me, all Arsenal fans were scouting him on FIFA and FM and just know how good he could have been. And that's why I was so happy when he signed him. Because I was wanting a left back for so long. I was like, Nacho's decent. He scored some important goals, like Man United's FA Cup goal and a goal in the semi-final. But I never had we have a quality left back. And then we signed Tierney. And I was like, thanks. Thank you so much. Because he's so good. He's like, next captain, hands down, has to be. Even if he's taking over next season or once Oba leaves, he's the next captain.
I think he's probably the best fit at the moment. I mean, it's
experience being captain as well, doesn't he? He was Celtic captain. He's taken a step down in terms of leadership roles to join us, but I'd give him the armband. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I could fully well get behind that.
Now we get to two quite divisive figures amongst the Arsenal fan base. Willian.
Realistically, squad player.
Yes.
But in between Pablo Mari and David Luiz as a squad player.
I can't criticise him because he's had two good games. Or well,
he's had
a good game and he's had a good 20 minutes in his last two appearances. But we've criticised him, well, not him personally, but the decision to play him over Pepe or Martinelli because he hadn't brought anything since Fulham. But now I think I don't want to go too harsh on him because he's in a decent spell of form. I don't even know. Can you say a game and not even a game and a half is good form? But I'd bottom end of squad player.
Yeah.
Too old to loan out, but
the odd problem with him is as well. When we bought him on a free, he was meant to be. This was meant to be his best season because obviously he's only going to decline afterwards.
Yeah,
we gambled on a 3-year contract because we thought we'd get a good enough first season out of him to be warrant the second and third. But he's only going to get, like, as the player his age, he's only going to start losing his, his speed and his physical attributes.
Trickery, and which is what we knew him for at Chelsea. And it's why I thought it was a decent signing. I think we needed another winger.
Yeah, I agree.
We needed something like that. And he's just not, on the whole, delivered. I think he's got 4 assists, and I don't want this to turn into another Willian bashing video, but he's not delivered what we expected. I think that's
I think if Martinelli and Pepe are still behind him next season, then you've got serious questions to be asked about the future of the club, because Martinelli is going to be a star, I think.
Yeah.
And if he's not getting minutes here, he'll start questioning why he bothered signing his contract last season.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So, final one on the list. I know I've forgotten a couple of people, so we'll talk about them. So, final sort of general first team player, Granit Xhaka. I mean, considering we only have one central midfielder in our first in terms of permanent, we've only got one in our top category, and then the central midfielder we need to sell him as soon as we can. Obviously, we've got Ceballos on loan, but I mean, he's a first team player, isn't he? At the moment, in terms of everyone we've got currently fully fit, he's a first team player.
Yeah, but in the summer, I think I would sell if the offer is right, and I know that's. Really? I know that's controversial, but I think that you could. It's very difficult to try and explain because everyone always point to Granit Xhaka's good points, and he is very good at what he does well. But he has so many deficiencies in that midfield that, in my opinion, could be covered better by someone else. Say, for example, we ended up with a double pivot of Partey and Bissouma. I think that would work a lot better than Partey and Xhaka.
I decide with you on this one to sell him.
I think
the offer's right.
The problem is, right, he's either first team next season or we sell if the offer's right. There's no in between. Like, I don't see us bringing in Bissouma if we have Xhaka on the bench, because Xhaka's a £30 million player. He's a £30 million asset that we just can't afford to keep on the bench.
I mean, I'm not his biggest fan, so I'm happy to move to sell if offer's right. I think that's a decent place to put him.
Yeah, I go with that.
So let's put him there, and let's stick him there for now. So we've obviously missed some players off. Matt Ryan came in on loan. If we signed him permanently, squad player.
Yeah.
Renarson, obviously we've missed that again.
Loan out, maybe?
Yeah, I think a loan spell in the Championship could do him quite nicely.
Get him some confidence in English football, I think, will be quite useful. Even if it is just to sell him afterwards for $5 million like we bought him for.
I think that's the sort of, in terms of first team squads currently at the club, the only two we've missed out.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose then you've got Willock, Maitland-Niles, and then Balogun.
Balogun, and Nketiah.
And Nketiah, I forgot about as well.
I think Balogun we keep and sort of have him as a backup striker. And I'd loan out Eddie. I'd give him a new contract this year, loan him out, and let him score 20 goals in the Championship, and then sell him on to.
I think I'd sell him out, to be honest. I don't think. I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Because we haven't really seen enough of him to be conclusive either way. But if we're going to keep Balogun, having Balogun and Eddie Nketiah and Aubameyang and then another striker seems a bit overkill, even if Aubameyang plays from the left.
Okay.
Me. Especially if you're going to put Martinelli through the middle at some points as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to side with you on the Nketiah. But I mean, it's a case of he probably won't be at the club next season.
Yeah, I don't think
one way or another. And if the offer is right, I would sell him because we need to raise funds to rebuild the rest of the squad.
Yeah, I'd give him a new contract and loan him. I wouldn't give him like an expensive contract. I'd give him like a 3-year, 2.5-year, 3-year deal and see how he does next season, then sell him or just count our losses and get rid. Right. I think we can move. You can have one choice, free will, no arguments, no sort of discussion. You can move one player and I can move one player, but we can't move the same sort of player. So I can't move Chambers up and then you bring him back down, and vice versa. But that's what I'm going to do mine now. I'm going to say I'd keep Callum and I'd loan him out because I think we could sort of mark him a bit more, because if we sell him, we'll get not much money for him. Send him to the Championship, someone like Derby or Forest or somewhere. Let him have like a good season, and then recoup that money. Because I really like Callum, but I think we have too many centre backs. So I'd loan him out, and then if he has a good season, cash in or maybe bring him back into the fold ahead of Louise and Mary.
Yeah, I could deal with that. Where would so if we're talking about next season's defenders, then you're looking at Holding, Gabriel,
Saliba.
Would you bring Mavropanos back from Stuttgart?
Again, I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Mavropanos.
I think he's been doing really well, to be fair to him.
So it's really weird when you think about it, because we've got so many centre backs. We've never really had that before. I mean, your starting two has to be Gabriel and Saliba.
Provided Saliba is ready. And it's a big question, isn't it, whether he's ready? I don't think you'd chuck him straight back in. I
wouldn't play him like first game of the season or something, but I'd like to see how that partnership sort of develops.
Yeah, I think that's every Arsenal fan's dream, to see how that partnership works, because they're both so young and so talented in their own right.
I mean, to be honest, I know it's a bit controversial. If I couldn't have that, like my next pair, like I'd have Holding and Chambers.
Holding and Chambers.
And then I'd have Mary as like that fifth choice, sort of, if like anything happens. Because
you'd have Gabriel, Saliba, Holding, Chambers, Mary.
Yeah, I'm not too fussed on David Louise. I'm like, yeah, if he stays, maybe. But like, I don't think you can justify having 6 centre backs. Like, you've only got a 25-man squad. You can't justify having 6 centre backs. So I think one of those is going to go.
Yeah, I could see that. My change is actually going to be adding someone in, if that's all right.
Yes, of course.
So I really like him, and I think a loan would be the best for him. And I'm Rhys Nelson.
Yes, I completely forgot about Rhys as well.
He's currently back in the under-23s. I don't know what's happened to him. Arteta spoke really highly of him after the Europa League campaign, and he's now back captain in the under-23s. I think they're having a pretty rough time of it. He's having a pretty rough time of it. I think I'd get him out of the club on a loan deal. He hasn't kicked on the way that everyone thought he would be the player to come out of the Arsenal academy, and in fact, it's been Xhaka who's been far better.
He's been around for a while now as well, hasn't he? It's not like Xhaka who's emerged over the last year.
Well, there was that rumour, not rumour, there was that article that Arteta, when he was a player, was coaching Rhys Nelson with the under-16s. So, I mean, that shows you how far around, how long he's been here and how highly he's been rated. And I just think that he's really hit a brick wall in his career, and he's not going to get a lot of minutes, especially if Willian stays. I'd let him go out on loan to a like somewhere like Palace would be really good for him, I think.
If Palace sells Zaha, I reckon he fits into Palace really nicely.
I mean, it would be a bit depressing for a Palace fan to go from Wilfred Zaha to Rhys Nelson, but I agree with the sentiment. Like,
I mean, you even look at the teams who are going to come up, and you're like, Norwich probably. They could sort of experienced Premier League winger.
If we pinch Buendia,
I'd take that. We'll take Buendia, and we'll give you Rhys on loan for a year.
Rhys and Callum Chambers on loan for a year.
Maybe. Or, I mean, even someone like Brentford, I mean, they've lost a lot of their players. Like, you look at who they've lost, and if they don't come up again, you reckon they'll lose Tony, they'll lose those like Canos. So he can sort in there. I mean, all Premier League wise, us Villa, although is Bertrand Traore there permanently? Because I can see him do really well in the Villa team with Grealish.
Yeah, Bertrand Traore is there permanently, and so is they've got quite a lot of depth because they've got El Ghazi and Trezeguet as well.
I reckon he could do really well at Villa with linking up with Grealish and Watkins, sort of like English triangle. I think could be really cool. I think
I agree.
This was our squad plus This was our squad for our most recent game.
Okay.
So I think that's why I have all these players ready. I mean, there might be one or two that wasn't there, and there were obviously one or two who weren't in the squad. So I'll add in a couple of more players that we've sort of spoken about and where they'd go. Are we happy with this tier list overall?
With the players on it, yeah. I mean, obviously there's a few still to add that need to be put in the right places. Ainsley, Joe Willock, Rhys Nelson.
So what would you do with those three? Would you loan them out again?
I'd sell Ainsley.
Sell as soon as possible, or sell if we get the right offer?
Sell if we get the right offer. I think he would attract. I mean, we turned down 25 million from him in the summer, which I think was a bit daft of the club. If he didn't want to play right back, because he clearly wasn't in favour in central midfield. I think he's really good at right back, but he clearly doesn't want to play there.
Yes.
So I'd sell him if the offer's right, and then move on by someone who does want to play right back or someone good enough to play in central midfield. As much as I really like Ainsley.
I do, yeah.
But it just doesn't work out sometimes.
But because of where he wants to play, we've got talent. And where we would want him to play, we've now reinforced. So there's a real place for him. But I'd get Willock, Nelson out on loan again. Eddie out on loan.
I get behind that.
Balogun, I think, again, it depends what we do in terms of transfers. And we'll do a transfer tier list or transfer talk episode again in a couple of weeks during the international break. Because I think there's a lot we could talk about there. It's all lifts and buts until like we get a big summer revamp. Because if we sell Lacazette, I'd definitely bring in someone like Edouard. We've been linked to Andre Silva today. Someone like that, and then have Balogun as that third choice striker. And so there's so much you could do, but we need to know what we do. Like, summer window closes, where are we? And then we can do another one of these. I think that's what we'll do.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So we'll add in the rest of these players. Join us tomorrow for our Arsenal versus Burnley preview. That's a massive game for us. We'll be joined by...
Who knew Burnley away would be such a massive game?
What has it come to? Now it's just... Normally you look at that Burnley game and you're like, oh, it's a game that we should win. We normally expect to win. And now it is a must win. Again, every game's a must win for us now. So let us know your thoughts on our tier list. We will put this template out on Twitter. We will let you have your say. Tag us in your tweet and let us know what you agree with, what you disagree with. Join us tomorrow for our preview. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, all of that. And we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.